Hello, welcome to another episode of As Told by Gonzo. I am Gonzo himself, and welcome to my video for my Laserdisc collection. I know last video I said I was going to do a video about my HD DVD collection, but I got a kind of a nudge from a subscriber to kind of move forward past the HD DVD for now and do a little bit of a obscure, not obscure per se, but to some people, um, go over my Laserdisc collection. I do have a Laserdisc player. It is a Pioneer M301. Um, Pretty much your basic. There's nothing really fancy about it. I picked it up at a Goodwill about I think last year for like $5 or $7. Laserdisc players are kind of hard to come by these days. They're very expensive if you try to buy one off someone that knows what a Laserdisc player is. They could get into like the $50 range sometimes, which I would not pay that much for a Laserdisc player. If you don't know what a Laserdisc is, it is pretty much a big CD. This is the Super, which I'll go over that in a second. It pretty much looks like an LP, but it looks like essentially a really big CD. You just pop it in and you play it. Most Laserdisc, if not all Laserdiscs, are double-sided. So midway through the movie, you do have to flip over the discs. Now, when you get into the more expensive Laserdisc, that's probably going to create a lot of noise, just to let you know. The more expensive Laserdiscs you get into, they have little, kind of features on them where you don't have to actually take out the disc and flip it. It just has like a little laser that goes flips underneath the disc, so it reads from the bottom as well. So let's get started. The first Laserdisc is Joe Pesci and the Super. I believe this DVD is out of print, I believe. So it's kind of cool to have this on a Laserdisc. It is a full screen version, so you're not getting the whole cinematic way it was meant to be seen, but I like Joe Pesci, and this is kind of an underrated gem. The Super, pretty cool. John Ritter classic. Stay tuned. This movie used to be used to be out of print on DVD and was kind of hard to come by. That's when I got it, but it recently just got a Blu-ray release from I think Sony. Put this out on Blu-ray, but it is Stay Tuned, a great 90s movie that actually takes place in Seattle, I think. It's never really said, I think it takes place in Seattle, but there's a lot of Seahawks jerseys and hats worn in this movie. One of my all-time classic favorite Disney movies. It's Blank Check on Letterbox. So Letterbox is essentially a widescreen version of the movie. Back then, you didn't get widescreen movies unless you were, if you don't know what widescreen is, so a normal VHS is a full screen version of a movie. It's zoomed in. You're not getting the full aspect ratio of the movie. You're getting a lot of it cut off or a lot of it zoomed in. Letterbox, it zooms out, so you get the whole picture, essentially the way it was intended to be seen, the way essentially you would see it inside of the theater. So this is Blank Check. I know it's not a very good movie, but it's one of my favorite childhood movies, and when I picked up this on Laserdisc, I was excited to pick it up on Laserdisc. Yeah, you'll see the price, $2.99. It's kind of expensive for a Laserdisc, but I collect things, so why not? This is a collection that I want to finish collecting, but I only have part 2 of it, and that's Back to the Future Part 2. Again, on Letterbox, so you're getting the original aspect ratio, the way they intended it to be seen. Back to the Future Part 2. And that is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre original, 1974, directed by Tobe Hooper. My favorite horror movie of all time. I have the remakes of this. I have the sequels of this. I have 10 versions of just this movie. And it is amazing. I love this movie. It's so gruesome and gory and just so real. And shot on a Handycam, I believe, and it's just amazing. This Laserdisc, the thing about Laserdisc is they're not the best in quality. You're gonna get a scratchy a scratchy visual, a scratchy presentation. But a movie like this deserves to be seen on like VHS or Laserdisc. Yes, the Blu-ray has a pretty good transfer. They really polished it up. But the first time you ever see this movie is the way that I seen it was on an old school VHS, very grimy, scratchy, barely visible at times. And then this movie, that's the way it was intended to be seen. I love this movie. It's definitely my favorite horror movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. I know that's weird to say, but it still scares me to this day. The next one up, also directed by Tobe Hooper, is Poltergeist. I know there's a difference. There's like a double laser discs of this movie. This is like a full screen version of it. But one of my favorite horror movies. I wouldn't actually say it's a horror, more like a psychological horror. So iconic too. That cover art there is so iconic. One of my favorite B horror movies. That's H.P. Lovecraft's Reanimator. This movie is really cool, really awesome, really gory, about a scientist who finds this like serum and he injects it into people and trying to bring them back to life, and it doesn't exactly work the way he intended it to be. But this movie does have a Blu-ray release through Image, and I believe Arrow Video has a really cool like limited edition of it, and also just a single disc with a bunch of special features on it. But I love this movie. I'm really happy to own it on Laserdisc. Beauty and the Beast. This is one of the editions I have, letterbox edition, and some of these have like billfolds in them, so they kind of come out like this. I don't know if that's all the way in the screen, but that's pretty cool. This is also a double Laserdisc too, as well. And Aladdin or Aladdin on Laserdisc. Again, this one has a billfold as well. It's pretty cool. I like the cover art. Pretty awesome. All right, the next two. One of them is kind of hard to explain. It's Beauty and the Beast. This is called The Work in Progress. It was shown at the New York Film Festival in 1991. It's back when Disney used to showcase their movies at film festivals. They don't do that much anymore. But this is called A Work in Progress. It's the full length movie, but it's not finished yet. A lot of it is not colorized. A lot of it's just hand drawn stuff. So it's pretty cool to watch something like this on Laserdisc. Lastly, but definitely not least, is Clerks on Laserdisc. I had to buy this movie, and it is signed. Yes, if you could see that. It is signed by Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith, who played Jay and Silent Bob in the movie, and Kevin Smith is actually the director of this movie. If you did not know that, I don't imagine you would be watching my channel if you didn't know that. Next video, I will be doing my HD DVD collection as well, showing off the player that I have, and we will do that next time. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.